I used to think it was just part of aging, waking up 2, 3, sometimes 4 times a night to shuffle to the bathroom. At 78, I accepted it as inevitable. The trouble was, the more I woke up, the less rested I felt. Days blurred into fatigue, naps didn't help, and I caught myself dozing in the afternoon chair when I wanted to be out in the garden. My doctor called it nocturia, a fancy word for nighttime trips to the bathroom, but he didn't have a simple solution. Pills existed, but they carried side effects, and I've always been cautious about adding more bottles to the shelf. One morning, after another restless night, I was flipping through an old gardening magazine when an article caught my eye. It mentioned tart cherries. I thought at first it was just another health fad, but something about the way the writer described their effect on sleep made me pause. According to the article, tart cherries are naturally rich in melatonin, the very hormone our bodies need to fall into deep, restorative sleep. Not only that, but they also reduce inflammation, which can irritate the bladder. Could something as simple as fruit really change the nightly ritual I'd come to dread? I decided to experiment. I found tart cherry juice at the market, unsweetened, dark, and tangy. That night, about an hour before bed, I poured myself a small glass. I'll admit the taste was a shock at first, more sour than sweet, but not unpleasant. I went through my evening as usual, read a few pages of my book, turned off the light, and waited. To my surprise, I slept 5 straight hours before my bladder called me. For me, that was already a victory. Encouraged, I kept at it. A week later, I noticed something remarkable. I was waking only once a night, sometimes not at all. I would slip into bed, close my eyes, and it felt as though my body sank into a heavy, uninterrupted slumber. In the mornings, I felt sharper, steadier on my feet, and strangely, even happier. Sleep does that. It brightens the whole day. The fear of nights filled with broken rest began to fade. I started telling my friends at the senior center about this little discovery. At first, they teased me. Cherries? Really? You think fruit can fix what medicine hasn't? But a few of them were curious enough to try. One woman, who had been waking up 5 times a night for years, called me a week later, almost in tears. She said she'd slept like she hadn't in decades. Another gentleman, who usually kept quiet, admitted he'd noticed less urgency and fewer trips to the bathroom since starting his nightly cherry ritual. Of course, I'm not claiming tart cherries are a miracle cure. Bodies are complicated and everyone responds differently. But there's something undeniable about their effect. For seniors especially, sleep is one of the most powerful medicines, and when you lose it to constant bathroom breaks, your health spirals downward. Blood pressure rises, memory dulls, and mood sinks. Restoring deep sleep isn't just about feeling refreshed, it's about protecting the body from decline. What I love most is that this isn't another pill with a warning label or a side effect I need to fear. It's fruit, grown from the earth, with nutrients our ancestors probably enjoyed without even knowing why they felt so good. I even took to buying fresh tart cherries in season, pitting them and freezing them for smoothies. The juice is convenient, but the fruit itself feels like a treat, a reminder that nature often hides solutions in the simplest places. These days, when I slip under the covers, I no longer dread the night. I close my eyes and know I'll rest deeply, waking refreshed, with only sunlight nudging me out of bed. No more fumbling with slippers in the dark, no more staring at the ceiling at 3 in the morning, no more dragging myself through sluggish afternoons. The garden gets more of my attention, my grandchildren hear more stories, and I have more energy to cook, walk, and live. Looking back, I realize how easy it is to give up and say, that's just old age. But sometimes all it takes is curiosity and the courage to try something different. For me, the surprising fruit that restored my sleep was the tart cherry. It may sound simple, but simplicity is often where true healing lies. Now, every time I pour that little glass before bed, I smile to myself, grateful that a small change gave me back something priceless, the gift of uninterrupted, peaceful rest.